Good evening. Welcome to Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Brinkley, along with the host of Love 101, my main man, Naeem Najib. What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Charles. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. You sound great, man.
All right. That's right. So what's up? I'm ready.
Cool, man. I will tell you what, we're gonna get right into it. But before we get right into it, what I'm gonna do is of course we gotta give homage to our sponsor for the night, which is the A game. So we'll play the commercial, then we'll come right back with Feel Good Talk Love 101. Here we go. And that is the A game. Great for vitality, energy, strength, and libido. And if you want your free sample, give me a call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836 to get your free sample of the A game. Now, ladies, this is for men only. And it's flying off the shelf. So, fellas, please hit me up as soon as possible. All right. Back to you, Naeem. I know we got some hot topics tonight. So, what we getting into? You
well,
there?
okay, I'm
Okay.
not on mute. Yes, well, we are talking about love and healthy relationships. Okay, so let's see. We got Crisco in the back. Crisco, are you ready to come on? Just give a thumbs up if you're ready to come on. All
Oh,
right,
he's
so we
ready to come on. What's going on, Chris? Oh, wait a minute. What happened? Oh, maybe you. What's up, Crisco? How you doing tonight? What's
I'm
going
good.
on?
How are you?
Oh, we doing great, man. Doing great. Great to have you. Great to have you.
Happy to be
yeah,
here.
Yes,
thanks
indeed.
for coming. Yes, like old times. Crisco is actually one of the first people I did a show on my channel on Love 101 Media on YouTube where we ran
Wow.
through what love, the facts of love,
Hmm.
where I was just coming out. I didn't even have the facts of fear yet. I just had the love facts and I was running through it. You can check that out on the Love 101 Media channel. And we've been doing this for a while now. So it's good to see you. Good to have you here on the
Yeah.
new platform, Crisco. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be back.
Awesome. Awesome. Yep.
Yes. So I have, as you know, if you don't know, I'm Naeem Najib. I'm the founder of Love 101, and we're dedicated to teaching that love is a mindset and a skill set that you can learn and master, that anyone can learn and master because you are love. And it also involves unlearning what we've been conditioned to think about love and healthy relationships and toxic
Right.
relationships. And there also, I want to say, is there are no original problems where people come to me for consultation about problems in their relationship, and it's all the same in different scenarios. And I'm going to give you the breakdown, the rundown of what it always is,
Hmm.
and then what the solutions are based on the facts of love and fear. But before that, do you want to get to any comments? I'm gonna pull up my screen in a moment. You just
Yeah. While you doing that, we got a couple comments right off the bat. We got my man Thomas Green. What's going on? He says, fellas, good evening. What's going on, Thomas? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you, brother. And we have Cheryl LaJoy. I hope I said that right. She says, good evening from Houston, Texas. Good evening, Cheryl. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And that's it for right now, Naeem.
all
That's awesome, though.
Mhm.
Houston.
Houston is in the
right.
house. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I know you shared the breakdown before in one of our other meetings, Charles, but we have people listening from all over the country and all over the world,
Yeah,
right?
we have people listening from all over the country, all over the world. We actually have shows. Feel Good Talk is an umbrella of a variety of shows that throughout the United States. So we have ATL. The main bases are the ATL, which is in Georgia. We have Florida, of course, Orlando. We also have Virginia, up in Culpeper, and parts of Virginia, and then we also have New York, upstate New York. We have LA, Arizona, of course, the tri-state area, Delaware, Delaware, Jersey, and New York and Philly. So we have all of those areas right there, and we have a big, nice following all over the place. So we're spread out pretty far.
Totally.
And we do have foreign countries as well. So again, thanks to everybody for sharing and helping us out here at Feel Good Talk. We definitely appreciate it. Me and Naeem, we've been together for about 2 years now, man, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, about 2 years now.
It's about 2 years, yeah. So, and once I heard about this love, the universal principles of love, I was like, wow, this is something that we definitely can use. So,
Yes.
and here we go. He just breaks it down.
Speaking of which, can you see it on your screen?
Yep.
Got it here too.
Okay. I'm having a little delay on my end, but if
Okay.
you would, I don't know if you're able to see that, Crisco. If you can, would you mind reading the love facts on the right hand side with me?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll start from the left side. So we're talking about fear, and in other words, a toxic or fear-based relationship is based on fear and force. So that is the F. So this is going by the acronym FACTS. So for fear or toxic relationships, we have fear and force. So what about the love, healthy relationship?
We got freedom.
That's simple. And toxic relationships are based on attack, abuse, and anger. About healthy relationships.
Appreciation.
That's also very simple. And then we got conflict, confusion, and I said contusions. You don't want those.
Yeah.
Confusion and control for a toxic relationship.
And for healthy, we got communication, clarity, and care/compassion.
Right. So for those who want it to be simple, I would advise you just take the first word off of each of these. When there's more than one, it's just giving you options, and they're all
Right.
equally like true. They're all true. But to run it down real quick, someone's like, "What's a healthy relationship?" It's based on freedom, appreciation, communication, trust, sincerity. You don't have to say all of these words. It's just showing you different ways of approaching it. So for the toxic relationship in T, we got trauma and triggers. Toxic relationships always involve some kind of past trauma or current trauma being done, and it always is triggering, and that trigger leads to more conflict. What about the healthy relationships?
Trust or truth.
Right. And finally, for toxic relationships, we got separation, suspicion, and shame. What do we got for healthy?
And for healthy, we got sincerity and surety and security.
Right. So that it's kind of new. I brought those last two, surety and security, in because people talk about insecure, and I mean it's a hit show, right? Insecure, but insecurity and whatnot all the time. But on the healthy relationship, what's the opposite of insecurity? You got security and surety. You're sure about what's going on here, and that's also trust. So it's not necessarily just about surety and security is not just about another person. You can be sure and secure in and of yourself. So with that said, anybody have any comments? Let's go to the comments and then come back.
Oh, they're coming. They're blowing up now. We we don't open up a can of worms. So let's let me. Okay, let's see. Let me get to him. Okay, here we go. We got my man Warren Johnson. He says, "Man, we need more of this in our community." Yes, we do. Thanks for tuning in. We got Izzy Meditates. What's going on, lady? She says, "Hello, Feel Good Talk family. What's up?" Got my man Tyrone Ricks. He says, "10 of Life is tuned in." And Kathy M. Johnson says, "Freedom. That's a big one for most." All right. Lamar Avery says, "A healthy love cast out fear." Yes, it does. And then we got Izzy speaking to Thomas Green. She says, she thanked him for tuning in. We have Tyrone Hicks. He says, "What's up, brother Charles Blakely, love doctor and special guest." What's going on, Ty? Thanks for tuning in. And
Right, Tyrone.
We got Tyrone again. He says, "Feel Good Talk is the face of internet radio." Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. He also says, "This show is important to life." Yes, it is. And we got Izzy speaking, everybody. See, we also, hey, Crisco, we also have a family or community that also speaks to each other, talk to each other. So you'll see a lot of people going back and forth. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? So, and
Totally.
she also says absolutely. So again, oh, I forgot to mention Florida. We have someone in Florida as well. So we're all over the map. But again, thanks for everyone for tuning in. We appreciate that.
And I want to go back to two people. One
Yes,
is
sir.
Lamar says, "Healthy love casts out fear." Can you say more on that? And Kathy, you said freedom. That's a big one for most. So my question to everyone is, what does freedom mean to you?
There you
And
go.
I know it can be, the idea of freedom can sound scary a lot of times in
Mhm.
relationships because people look at it as if, oh, you're free to just do whatever you want to do. And you don't factor in the idea that maybe what the person wants to do or what you want to do is respect, honor, and appreciate that other person. Maybe
Right.
that's what you want to do above everything else. We look at everything like, well, that means they might attack me, hurt me, steal, leave me, do all this. You think about everything that you're afraid of, and it's important to think about the things that you are afraid of because it helps bring up the things that need to be healed. I tell
That's right.
people all the time when they're coming for advice and relationship advice, think of the worst case scenario, the thing that you're most afraid of, and really say it in no uncertain terms, whether it's like, oh, this person leaves me for another younger, better looking,
Right.
more
Right.
interesting person, and they just don't ever talk to me again. Say, all right, so that's the thing that you're most afraid of. Now, this is what I want you to do in order to free yourself of that fear.
Hmm.
And guess what it is?
I
We'll
would
be
say.
back after this commercial interruption. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say communication. That's why I love communication so much, because at the end of the day, once you get everything aired out, you get you let the person know what you want and the type of freedoms you may want to have. And if they don't want you to have that, or they're not comfortable with that, then you have to either not deal in that relationship or find other alternatives. So again, that's just my perspective on that.
Yeah, and to piggyback on
Mhm,
that too, I completely agree.
mhm.
And like how many times does it like how often does it feel like good after you have like a conversation about
Right.
something that you're unsure about with a partner, and you don't communicate, and you like create a million different scenarios in your head that are almost 100 times worse than what the outcome is ever going to be.
Hmm.
And sometimes just having that communication, like you were saying, Charles, and just clearing it up can feel so good and like you just like relieving, and then that kind of strengthens your relationships.
Yes.
You look in that process of communicating, you're learning about each other too, like what you like, what you don't like, what brings you some jealousy, or et cetera, et cetera. So
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, and that's true. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Your mind is a very strong tool. I mean, it plays so many tricks on you. You could think one thing and your mind will take it so many different places where it don't have to be. And
right.
you'll start believing like, oh man, she gonna do this or he gonna do this. And next thing you know, you're somewhere else. You're way off, So again, you really have that communication part is definitely key to me. That's, I'm going to go with the communication. And
Sure.
not because my name begins with C either. It's like, let me stop this one, Naeem. Hey, we got a lot of comments out there, Naeem. So
All right,
and
good, good,
actually
good.
we have Kathy, because you did ask her a question, and she actually she did come back with something. So if you want to get to that real quick. Matter of fact, we'll
Yes.
go to her first. We'll go to Kathy first. She says to trust someone totally with your life, especially all the decision making, the comfortableness of just me and you. You don't have to hide yourself because you don't feel like you're imprisoned. Uh, you're in prison conversation about a spot you're supposed to be comfortable in. Okay, I see what she's saying. She didn't put any punctuation there, but I got exactly what you were saying. So now you want to talk to her on that one there.
I thank you for sharing that, Kathy, and saying to trust someone totally with your life. And I
Mhm.
want to make it clear that another way of looking at trust is just because you trust someone does not necessarily mean that you put your life in their hands, or that you want them to have a key to your house. Like you may trust many people who don't have a key to your house, right?
Right.
But that them not having a key is not a reflection on your trust. It's just that you may not want that for that relationship, you know? So, and we also got to remember that a lot of times we get confused. You know, I got a whole book about trust, so I'm not going to go into it too deeply unless y'all want to. But there is other words that people use when they're saying trust, when they mean reliable. It's like sometimes they say, "Oh, I want to rely on you to be here at a certain time," rather than "I trust you to be here at a certain time." Because trust, it just seems to hold more weight. Like, "Oh, if I don't trust that you'll get here at a certain time, then I'm angry or I'm upset." And relying is like, okay, I'm relying on you because your Uber Eats to bring me my food because that's what your job is. You know?
Right.
Now, what else did she say? She said, right, that the comfortableness of just me and you don't have to hire yourself. Well, thank you for all of that. I appreciate it, Kathy. Let's go to some other comments.
Yeah, we got Taria Gail Wilkins. What's going on, lady? She says a healthy freedom of expression within your relationship. I think she's trying to get back to what is freedom, because I think a lot of people are answering that question here too. We also have Izzy. She says freedom is the ability to be authentic, to be my authentic self at all times, especially in relationships. Yes, indeed.
Sure.
And let me make sure I didn't pass anybody. Yeah, we did. We passed Cheryl. She says, yes, I do. People that are in a marriage relationship with a military member is very intense. Do you have a special word for that community? Talking to you, Naeem.
Regimented, maybe.
There you go. But I don't know if oh, there he is. You see that, Naeem? Okay.
Yeah, I see it. I was just bringing this back up for a second, but I would like a little more detail on this, Cheryl, because it's, I mean, there's a lot of detail that goes into that. Military member, and what is it, even if it's, you don't have to say whose situation it is, but what is the difficult or intense part of it? Is it the moving, the traveling, they're not being available around, what have you, etc.?
Right.
Because if you're going to choose to start a life with someone who is in the military, or you're in the military and you're choosing to start a life with someone who's not, then it's important to find out what that entails, right? Exactly.
Right.
How long are you going to be away? How long are you going to be around, etc.? So tell us more about what you mean by it. And what else do we have?
We got my man Warren Johnson. He says, I believe respect is the key to a healthy relationship. Respect covers all base of a relationship.
All right. Now, Warren, I'm always here to just get on y'all about every single little thing. So when you say respect, what do you mean, right? And I just want to know, what do you mean, Warren? And what does anyone mean when you say respect? Does respect mean, oh, look me in my eyes when I'm talking to you? It's like, what?
Right. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Right. What if we in a dark room where we can't see each other's eyes? I mean, you know what I mean? If we in a movie theater, I'm legally blind. I don't know. Where's your eyes? That I just want to know, what exactly do you mean when you say respect? And again, is respect something someone can make you feel, or is respect self-generated and something that you have and that you have for yourself, that it doesn't matter what someone else does, that the respect is the same? I just want to know what y'all mean, because I'm here more for a conversation and to tell you what it is. I gave you the basics. I gave you where we are coming from when we use the word love. And in Love 101, we're talking about freedom, appreciation, communication, trust, and sincerity. And I want to go back to Crisco. What did you think when you first heard this? And as we've been having conversations about it, this model of looking at love, how has it helped you? Has it, what were your thoughts on it when you first heard it, and as it's coming back around now? It's my question for Crisco.
The facts of love.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned at the beginning of this introduction that you gave me at the beginning of this video, you and I sat down and kind of like, you had an idea of what they were, and we kind of talked about them and worked on some of them, as like conceptually together. And a big part of a lot of those different acronyms, FACT and S, are things that I like strongly resonate with from my experience from then at that time in my life, and from my relationships in the past, that kind of, some of them that weren't successful, some of them that led to some kind of traumas that needed to be healed, that then through the healing process led me to, kind of having my eyes open to some of the concepts that we talk about with those acronyms in facts. And yeah, I mean, even now to this day, as someone that kind of is like, when we were talking about that, God, some 3 years ago, I guess, was it now, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that was 2019, right?
Yeah.
I had just come off of a 4-year relationship, and so now, even 4 years later, I've grown so much, kind of relying on those principles and implementing them in my relationships now, and I see how they flourish. And Charles was talking about communication earlier. I think that's one of like my own things. It's like communication is such an important key. It's not the one thing, like you've mentioned, so many times in this thing. Like, there's all different things, but that's like one tool that I think is so versatile, so useful,
Right.
because it just opens up so many other parts of yourself and just parts of your relationship that you can kind of explore. Because you hear it out loud. It's like Charles also said this earlier too, which I thought was really good. Your mind will race. We're in constant conversation, with ourselves, just in thought. So when you finally get to reflect your thoughts back to another human being and have them mirrored back to you, you get to either hear, how sincere they are, or how, rooted in kind of fear or any types of traumas or triggers from the past that they could be like steeped in, etc. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but
No.
yeah, to answer your question very directly, yeah, they're I think that they're incredibly useful, and I think about them all the time, which is why when we talked recently, you told me about developing facts for fear in relationships. That's new to me, and reading those just now in this episode, so interested to know more about what you've developed on the fear side of it instead of the love side.
That's good, because we actually did go deep into the love side last episode, so I would like to talk more about that. And thank you, Cusco.
Hey, I like to say something too, Naeem. When I first
Charles, no, I was coming on.
It's great. No, I'm just saying, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is why me and Naeem clicked, because when I first heard the we met, and I on another we were I forgot how we met, but we met on I think we were on a podcast together, and we were talking, and I was listening, because people have different I guess ways of expressing love. A lot of people can't give you a straight answer. Love is a feeling. Love is make you kill. Love make you do this or a crazy thing. So when he broke love down to me, I was like, wow, this is elementary. Like, a child can actually listen and understand what he's talking about. So
Totally.
it was so basic and simple. I'm like, wow, this is great stuff. So like I said, once I heard this, and put like you said, make it a part of your life, I mean, everything becomes so easy after that. So thank you, Naeem Najee. Appreciate you, brother, and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. It's amazing. Because I'm not saying nothing new. All I'm doing is kind of giving a road to unlock what everybody has inside of them anyway. It's more about unlearning, because we're so confused. Like, love hurts, but it feels good.
Right.
Love is free, but it's also possessive.
Right.
Love means, you talk to somebody every day and constant content, but it also means that you can go for years without talking to somebody, and like almost me and you, Crisco, did, and pick up the phone and everything's cool, right? And it's like we picked up where we left off. It's like, well, what is it? And I'm just offering another way to make it clear, because you can say something is this and that, it's kind of like when you order something from a restaurant and they got like 10 different levels of
Right.
spicy. Like, oh, this one is just a little spicy. This one's a little more spicy. This one's mild. This one's red hot. This one's hell hath no fury hot. This one is the devil quit hot. This one is, it's like there's so many levels, but with love and fear, there's no levels. It's like, this is healthy. I'm appreciating you. And this is not healthy. I'm abusing and attacking you. Like this is, there's no like, I'm appreciating you a little bit, or I'm just attacking you a little bit. It's like, no, any attack is toxic.
Right.
Any appreciation is healthy. Right. So that's what we're saying. That the results of these things are totally on different, they're in entirely different dimensions. So
hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Naeem, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Naeem.
I was going to read a comment from the backstage for Jahari, who is with us, but is not able to join us in voice and face because her device is not connecting. But she did say in the back that respect, back to the conversational respect. Respect means different things for different people. Example, a man could be okay with a girl talking to a guy friend around him and nor feel disrespected, or someone couldn't think that's disrespectful. There's so many different angles. Right. She also said communication isn't always authentic. People talk a lot of bleep, and will not be honest. Thank you.
Right. That's real. That's real.
Yep, that's real. Hey, we got a lot of comments. I'm gonna get to them real quick because we're gonna run out of space. But we got William Bird. He says, "Good evening, gentlemen. What's going on, Will? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, listen, don't forget to tune into the Lovebirds tonight at 8:30 p.m. right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. That's that mature love right there. It's mature love. Nah, he like, and we got my man Rochester. He says, totally such a big word. Hey, talk to us about that word. Maybe he's talking about fact. I don't know if he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. One of the facts words. I don't know. Give us a holler. I know he's not a troll because my man Rob, he's always on here. So, and he's tuning in from YouTube. So what's going on, Rob? Thank you. We also got Shannon, Shayna Gordine. What's going on? She says, hello, everyone. What's going on, Shayna? And we have Kathy. She says, what if you have freedom and trust in everything within the relationship, but not with your partner's family? That's a great question.
A good question. Do you have to have trust with your partner's family in order to have a healthy relationship with your partner? You live with them? Like, are you
right?
You
I mean, yeah,
exactly. With your partner and their family, like, good night, partner. Good night, partner's mother. Good night, partner's father. Good night, partner's aunt and uncle. Who's it? Good night, partner's cousin. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you do, but you do not have to have. In order to have a healthy relationship with one person, you do not have to even be connected at all to everyone that's connected to them. It's your choice.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And sometimes their family are not going to gel with you, or they're gonna she shouldn't be, or he shouldn't be with that person. You know how it is. So, and Cheryl says, yes, absolutely. Moving around, deployment. She's talking about the military.
The military, yes.
Yeah. Communication and everything you said.
Well, let's go back to that question I said about the worst case scenario, because I didn't get to finish that thought. And I was saying, think of the worst case scenario. Well, first of all, think of what you want. Let's say you're about to get in a relationship with someone. Let's just say, for example, that you want marriage, home together, and children together with this person. You want these three things. This is an example. Now, this person announces that they are going to the military, or they are active service in the military, and you say that you want these things. Okay, now you know that if they're going to be in the military, that involves the deployment. You're probably going to be moving with them, or you'll be away for months at a time, etc. And they're not going to be able to talk because they'll be in different operations, and they'll be like, ring, ring, ring. Oh, hey, baby. Where is he? Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I gotta go. Right? Sorry, because the ringer was on when you're supposed to be stealthy and all. All right, let me stop. But anyway, y'all know what I mean. You can't talk every day. So, what's the worst case scenario for you? Cheryl and anybody listening, in this scenario, any scenario, what's the worst case scenario? Do you is it that, okay, you're going to be raising children by yourself? Do you going to have to keep moving them to different schools? Are you going to, whatever the worst case scenario is, the question next is, can you make peace with that? Are you okay with moving around all the time? Are you okay not being able to see your family? Because maybe they move from this country to another coast of this country, or to another country entirely. And if you're with them, then you're not going to have the same life and social life that you had before you met them. Are you okay with that? And think about that. And if you're not okay with it, then make another decision. If you are okay with it, then it's okay either way. But you got to make peace with the worst in your mind, whatever the worst case scenario is, because a lot of times we hope for the best and we act on our feelings. I just really like this person. I really want everything to work. And that's a legitimate feeling.
Right.
In actuality, if you like this person, but you also like to go out and hang out with your friends on the weekends, and you also like to talk to this person on a regular basis, meaning at least a few times a month, and you also like sharing time with them, and you also like having them living with you, then you're not going to like that relationship as it evolves into them being in full active duty in the military.
Right.
But if that's something that you're willing to handle, and that you're okay either way, then I mean, you make your decision. You can make a better decision for you than anyone, for your life, than anyone can give you advice on. But my questions are, again, what do you want? And you should really sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and ask yourself, in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, what do I want? And also, what am I willing to give in this situation? And what do I not want? Because deal breakers are important. So you write on one column what you want, on one column what you don't want. And underneath that, you ask deal breakers. Deal breakers means any single thing that the relationship would not work for you anymore. Say the person has 12 kids. You're like, my limit is 11. All right. And then you're like, 12 is a deal breaker. Okay. I mean, 12 is a deal breaker. Let's say the person has their state of health is in the place where you would likely have to take care of them most of the time. And they, maybe that's a deal breaker. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's no judgment. It's just saying, are you willing to be the one to be at home taking care of them? Wiping up, cleaning them, feeding them, etc. Maybe it's a deal breaker. Maybe it's a deal breaker that they live on it's a long distance relationship. Like, you only see them once a month. Maybe that's a deal breaker. You want to see someone at least twice a month.
Yeah.
Think about this for yourself, because I'm telling you, the hormones and the hismones and the they and the she and the he moans and and the other moans in the bedroom, all of those moans, when they get involved, they mess with your head, and you start looking at what's in front of you, and you're like, I really like how I feel right now, but then they're like, yeah, I'm deploying to the military in 3 months. Like, oh, that's fine. We've been seeing each other every day, all day, texting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, going out every day, but it's fine. You're going to the military. I can deal with that, because right now the he moans and the she moans are saying, like, yeah, this is great. You don't want to let, but again, don't take my advice, because I'm not giving advice. I'm just giving the truth, and I'm asking questions that you should ask yourself about what you want and what you're willing to deal with, because life changes, and you should be clear. You should also not feel ashamed. You say, I want somebody that makes high six figures, who has at least 2 properties, who's an investor, and who, I don't care if they are bank robber. They just need that's not a deal breaker. As long as they got the high 6 figures, that's good with me. Whatever it is, you got to have that conversation with yourself. Right? I know we got a lot of comments, so unless you, Charles or Crisco, have something to say behind that, then we can get to the comments. I think you're on mute, or I'm on. My volume is off, Charles. Maybe it's me. Crisco, can you hear me? Can y'all hear Charles? Can you hear
Yes. Yep.
Can you hear Charles though?
Oh, I can't hear Charles. No.
All right, Charles, you on mute or something. That's a deal breaker for me, bro. We can't do this podcast. We're gonna be on mute the whole time.
At least he can hear you, though. He's smiling.
All right. I don't know what happened. Maybe you need to come back in or something.
No, I'm good. I'm good now.
Oh, I hear you.
I'm good.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we got Warren Johnson. He says, respect her or him as a person. We were talking about the respect factor. Warren was. So that's what he was talking about. We got more for Warren, so we'll get into that a little bit more down the list. Rochester, he says, honesty is the key. Thanks for that. He's tuning in on YouTube as well. Appreciate everybody on YouTube as well. Go ahead. Would you say?
I'd like to say something about honesty. Another way of looking at honesty is consistency. And you really can't be mad at somebody. You can, but it's dumb to be mad at somebody who's consistent. Like if they consistently late, they're honest. Like this is just a late person. Like you don't have to be mad. It's worse with somebody who sometimes they early, sometimes they're on time, sometimes they're late. You like, oh no, you gonna make it. You know, you know what's going on or whatnot. So it's better that you're like, oh, this person, they're gonna be at least an hour late. What time is the meeting, Crisco? 6? Or we're gonna tell them 7:30, and we're gonna start on time. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm running late. Like, it's okay. They get there. Wait, no, not you. Don't tell them 7. You tell them 4:30, right? And then they'll be like, oh, I'm getting there. And they get there at like 6. And like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, well, you're here right in time. So that's what you do because they honest. So anyway, honesty is consistency. When someone's consistent, then it's easier to have a relationship, even if that's consistency in something you don't like. If you know that they have too many drinks and then they get abusive or they get crazy or they get whatever, you know that you may not want to be around them when they drink or go out with them and drink or whatever, because that's consistent. Doesn't mean you have to give them a whole speech and a song and a dance about alcohol and drinking and maybe they should change and do. No, you just know that you change the way you relate to them. Like, okay, I don't really like being around you when you're drunk, and you're consistently a horrible person to be around when you're drunk. But otherwise, it's great. So I'm a bit, when I call and be like, you ready to hang out? I'm be like, you drinking? They're like, I just had a couple. I'm like, all right, well, I'll see you later. You know, right. If they're like, nah, I'm not drinking. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll see you in a minute. Right.
Right.
But honesty is consistency. Right. Let's keep going with the comment.
Yes, indeed. Cheryl also says, and because of traumatic stress that most have endured during their time served. So she's still talking about the military. I think we went over a lot of that already. And Warren Johnson says, what I'm saying is that when you don't have respect for one another, it opens the doors to all the wrong things, lying, cheating, and the ultimate disrespect. Practicing respecting each other allows you to hear what they have to say, which is the most important part of a relationship. You got something to say about that, Naeem?
I don't know. Thank you for sharing that, Warren. I just have a question for everyone that's just open-ended. And I'm gonna drop the mic. Let me find a mic around here. But this is gonna be the mic, all right?
Yeah, you go.
So my question here is, why would you want to be with someone you don't respect?
Right. There you go.
It's dropped.
We got Kathy. She says, I actually thank you guys very much for touching into that fear subject. Hey, that's what we're here for, Kathy. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. And we got Fatima West. What's going on, lady? She says, yes, earn learning what we have been conditioned and have been acting on. Excited about this information. Knowledge is lovely, but application is everything. Oh, I like that. Go ahead, girl. And we got Kathy again. She says, just throwing this in, laugh out loud. Miss Jet Set, man. Okay. Hit a vote for, everybody check it out. They looking for top 5. Okay, everybody take a look at this. Kathy, she needs you to vote for. We voted for before. She's on miss.jetsetmag.com/2022/Kathy/Elm/Johnson. So give her a call. I mean, give her a vote, not give her a call. Give her a vote. And you can go on here, you can vote for her. Awesome young lady. She's trying to do positive things, so please support her. We'll put that back up in a little bit.
And Kathy, can you just send Jess the link next time so people can click it, because it's all the dots are gonna mess it up. So.
And I think I got it already, so I'll put that up. She says, Fatima says, families can be key to support for a relationship. They can also be the gasoline for the fire. Yes, indeed.
Y'all want to know what human beings had before we had the profession of therapy? we had each other. All right. We
Mhm.
had friends and family, supportive friends and family. That is, we would have, that was a support system to lean on. Just saying, not saying don't get help, therapy if you need it. I'm just saying that
Mhm.
before we had that, and still we have each other, and remember
Right.
that.
That's true. We got Rochester. He came back. He said when the comment was made, totally trust someone with your life.
Ah,
Is I meant by totally is such a big word. Okay, we got you, brother. Thanks for that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We got Warren Johnson. He says, that's what everything, that's what every, that's what everything you do. Everything
that's
you do.
probably with that's with everything you
Yeah,
do. Probably
that's
talking about something
yeah.
Naeem was talking about.
I think he was talking about the respect, if I'm not mistaken, because
Yeah.
Warren on respect. Cheryl also says, I've been through it already. She's laughing. We're 56 and 57. This is for others that need this. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
the military
Yeah, the
support.
Yeah,
military.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for
Good.
being transparent too, Cheryl. We appreciate you.
Because it's kind of like another way of talking about being in a long distance relationship. That's pretty much
Mhm.
what it's going to be most times.
Yeah. And Fatima says,
Communicate with truck drivers and pilots too, by the way.
say it again. Truck drivers and pilots.
Yeah, truck drivers and pilots are usually not home.
Shoo. Yeah, you're right about that. They're all over the place. And Fatima West says, sometimes people think they can handle something or want something some kind of way, and then they realize that they can't handle or don't want to handle that. It's a choice, and people should be allowed to be honest and say, I rethought this and I don't want to live this life or under these circumstances. I agree with you. She also says, it was a tough road, but we got through it. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, so you should be the one really talking about that specific
Mm,
topic of
yeah.
relationship, because you, like you said, you know it the in and out. All right, let's
Yep.
continue.
And
I'll
Fatima,
I'll read, I'll read it.
yeah, go ahead.
Um,
Yeah, because Chuck B getting tired. Go ahead.
Tim Love says, I believe you should do exactly that. Comfort your own truths. Thank
Yes, indeed.
you.
She hits us
And
again. Oh shoot, my bad.
write down and take a look at what, how you want your life to be. What and how you want your life to be. What does that look like? I love these kinds of conversations and getting to know you phase. Yeah, the getting to know yourself phase, because
Yeah.
relationships will teach you what you want and what you don't want. But sometimes you can really think about it like, 12 kids, is that my cutoff point? Let me
Mm,
think. How did I do with my last partner who had 3 kids or who had 2 kids?
mm,
Not well. So maybe 12 is not going to work. You don't got to get into a relationship with somebody with 12 kids to figure that out. If you've already
right.
really had a
Exactly.
difficult time with somebody with 2, you
Yep.
know? So just saying. And after this comment, we'll get into the facts of fear. So Thomas Green Jr. says, do people believe in communicating to the point of knowing every aspect of a person before even entering a relationship? All right, maybe people believe in it, but people also believe in the fairy, was it the tooth fairy and Peter Pan, Santa Claus, that an overweight man is going to come down your chimney, and somehow for all the people who don't have chimneys, how's he getting the house? People believe that, it's his too.
Right. Right.
So people believe whatever they want, but it doesn't make it true. And I'll tell you right now, it's not possible to know every aspect of a person before entering a relationship, unless you're talking about a very superficial metric, like a what's it called, a CV, what's it called, resume, or something like that. You just want to know what they do for work, how much money they make, their
Mhm,
family, how many siblings they have, their favorite color, their
mhm,
favorite radio station, and all that, who they follow on
right.
Instagram. That's very rudimentary stuff that is not going to really tell you a whole lot about someone unless they put all of their crazy thoughts on their Instagram feed or whatever. But
Right.
it's better to ask specific questions like, so what are your thoughts about a political crime? Whatever is important to you, right? If it's your favorite color, then ask that question. If it's, your favorite
Mhm,
book, ask that question. But knowing every aspect of someone, we're always changing. We don't even know ourselves fully. It's always
Right.
a constant process. So it's not
mhm,
possible, even if people believe it. It's not true.
right.
Right. You communicate when things come up. It's almost unrealistic to try and you touched on this, to try and get to know everything about a person, because you can't.
No.
So it's definitely better to like communicate when certain specific instances come up, because then you can talk about what happened and then the door's open from there.
Right.
Right. So if they talking, you talking about, so tell me about your last relationship. It's like, yeah, we used to fight all the time, and then, they went to the hospital, and then I didn't see him again. It's like, whoa, 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 what you mean? What happened? It's like, oh, no. They a nurse. They work at the hospital. We would fight, and then they go on their shift. Like, oh, okay. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but maybe that's important. Like, was it
Right.
abusive? Did you have abusive past, or whatever the case? Like, ask the questions that's important to you. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe
Yeah.
that's important if it was abusive, whatnot. Which brings us to this side, this left side of the chart on fear. Toxic relationships are based on fear or force. So what do we mean? Fear is, of course, I'm afraid of being who I truly am. I'm afraid I'm going to be attacked if I really, whatever it may be. If I play my favorite music, you might make fun of it. If I introduce you to my friends, I'm afraid that you're not going to get along with them. I'm afraid that if I tell you what I really want, or if I express my feelings, then I'm going to be shut down. That's toxic. That's not a relationship that's based on freedom, which I feel free to express myself, and I'm not attached to an outcome or how you respond. But fear is always going to hold you back and have the
Right.
relationship being toxic. And force is also, it's not necessarily the physical force that we talk about, but it's more like, well, even ultimatums and stuff. Like, well, if you
Right.
don't
Right.
call me and at least call me back within 2 hours of when I call you, then it's over, or you're sleeping on the couch, or all these type of threats and stuff. That's force. That's an attack, which leads us to attack, abuse, and anger.
Mm-hmm.
So attack is I have the whole book about healing toxic relationships 101, which talks
Mm-hmm.
about subtle and obvious abuse. Attack and abuse are the same thing, just different words for it. In
Mm-hmm.
anger, nothing good comes out of that. So that's a given. But attack and abuse, talk about that for a moment. So you have different types of abuse. So I'm gonna throw one out there. Crisco, Charles, y'all throw some different ones out there. So physical abuse, that's an obvious one. Any other types of abuse y'all want to?
Mental abuse.
Physical abuse, okay. What else we got?
Yeah, mental abuse is what I was going to say for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm thinking. Um, you could
Oh, we got
definitely
Amy.
abuse.
Sorry, go ahead, Crisco.
Oh, it's okay. You can abuse things that are tangible too, like money or alcohol, like things like that too, right? So it's like that affects you and your behavior in the relationship, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Amy said she's
Oh
over here
yeah,
giving cheat
financial
codes.
abuse.
She said, fine. See, she's cheating. She got cheat
Yeah.
codes. So she's saying space
We're on the
abuse,
same page though.
financial
We're on the same
abuse.
page.
That's right. See, we all on the same page. Mental abuse, financial, y'all talk about it. Emotional, sexual, cyber,
That's
even
sexual abuse.
people
Yeah.
cyber
Yep.
stalk, y'all
Mm-hmm.
know all that. And I think Amy just wrote out a whole list of things here.
Wow.
She said
Go ahead, Amy.
mental,
I see she broke it down, didn't she?
verbal, financial, physical, sexual, cyber, resource and space, privacy abuse. And we can go into all of that, but we've done that already. Get the book. It's called Healing Toxic Relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
also the website, if you could put it up there, Chuck B,
Yes, sir.
healingtoxicrelationships.com, the best URL that you can ever spell. Boom shakalaka, healingtoxicrelationships.com. And she said
I'll put
straight
it
from
back.
your book. Okay. Thank you. And bullying, abuse, Cheryl says. So yeah, that's what we mean by abuse. Any of that is unhealthy. And let me give you just a real quick demonstration of the difference between financial abuse. I mean, between subtle abuse and obvious abuse. So
Mm-hmm.
subtle abuse would be something like let me go to obvious. Financial abuse. Obvious financial abuse would be you have some money in your wallet and somebody, your partner, whoever,
Mm-hmm.
goes in, your friend, whoever, roommate, goes in your wallet, takes $50 out, and then takes it. Or they see your, you using the computer and they see your Amazon account is open and they just order something for themselves and they come up to $50 and they never pay you back or mention it or use your card. All of that is financial abuse. Now, a more subtle form of financial abuse is what happens if you share a car with someone and you're always filling it up and they bring it back on E. Is that financial? Right. It is.
Yeah.
What if you have a business and you sell products and services and your friends and family are like, oh, you make cheap t-shirts, Chuck? Oh, let me get one of those. You selling it for 25? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I like to get one. Like, okay, how much? You like, I'm gonna wear it and everything. I'm gonna sport it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You
You get that.
Right? Well, what's the friends and family discount? How about the friends and family support is you get two and give one to somebody? How about that?
There you go.
How about the friends and family support? You're always looking for a hookup.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm not Amazon, okay? I'm starting my business. The $50 count.
Yep.
So you trying to get two for the price of none does not help me. It's not showing me love and support. Oh, it's the friends and family. I'm supporting you because I know you, so I should get a free discount. Like, no, that's subtle financial abuse, and don't do that. So those are examples of subtle and direct abuse. Now, going back real quick. Actually, let's see here.
This is Izzy Meditates.
Yeah, this is for anyone out here who needs it. If you suffer from any type of abuse, please reach out to the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. And again, it doesn't mean that it got physical. Even if it's just verbal and you don't feel safe, reach out 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. They can also be reached by chat or text message via their website, which is thehotline.org. So check that out, y'all, if you need to. And also we have conflict, confusion, and control. So conflict is let me just be clear, conflict is gonna come up in a relationship anyway. It doesn't matter the type of relationship, whether it's workplace, friends, family, relatives. But if you look on the right side of the chart, we have communication, clarity, and care, right? Compassion. So the resolution, what we're looking for is resolution, not to avoid all conflict. It's like, man, I know this person, I don't want to get on their bad side. And that's going back to fear. I'm afraid to express myself because I think it's going to be conflict. I want to avoid all conflict. Look, listen, do not avoid conflict. Look beyond the conflict to the resolution, because communication, like you said earlier, Charles, can really solve conflict, because usually it's just a miscommunication issue. We're on different pages, and to get back on the same page, you need that clear, compassionate communication, and you need to care about it, because confusion causes conflict. Right? I thought you said 4:00. No, I said, I thought you said 8:00. I did say 8:00. Well, I'm here right now. It's like, it's 8 a.m. I meant 8 p.m. Well, you could have just said 8 p.m., right? You could have just said 8 p.m. I got up out of the bed just to be here. Like, confusion causes conflict. So to be clear, meet me at 8 p.m. is helpful. And then control. Of course, people trying to control other people. How about this? Don't do it. Moving on. Trauma and triggers. That's clear. Whenever you're constantly being triggered or triggering yourself and triggering each other and not communicating and getting past it, and bringing up old trauma and not healing it. Relationships are for healing, y'all. Healthy relationships, you healing. That's why it feels so good. That's why it seems timeless. And like, you've known this person for longer than the time says, timestamp. And then finally, separation, suspicion, and shame. Mind you, the fear thought system is number one go-to is always separation. Oh, I'm afraid, separate. I don't know what's gonna happen. Separate. I don't know. I'm upset. Separate. And that can take any form. Literally, physically separating, ghosting, not responding, not addressing, avoiding. It's all part of separation, and it doesn't work. Like every lesson, relationships are classrooms, y'all, and the people in it are your teachers. So if you are avoiding the lesson, the unwritten rule of life is that if you don't learn your lessons, they come back around. And they come back around harsher and more painful than if you would have just got it before. Because a 20-year-old person sitting in the 4th grade classroom is not going to have the same experience as the 7, 8-year-olds in 4th grade. Because like, Mr. Miss, are you our teacher? It's like, no, I'm still here trying to learn my arithmetic, you know. You're not gonna have a very kind experience sitting up there 20 years old in fourth grade. All right. You should have got it when you were 7 and 8. And if you didn't get it, no shame, no judgment. Just remember that they come back around. And you can also skip lessons too, meaning not skip, but you can accelerate your growth. You can say, I don't need to take a whole year to learn this lesson. I can learn it in a month.
Right.
And I can watch other people who failed this lesson or who refused to get this lesson and say, ooh, that looks painful. I don't want to deal with that. And you can make adjustments. So suspicion and shame, that also comes down to it. Guilt is the number one worst feeling ever. And so shame and guilt are they're connected. So whenever you're trying to guilt trip someone, well, I came to your birthday party, Crisco, so how come you don't want to come? That's not. I don't know. I always was there for you, but you know, you're there for me.
Totally.
That's not a healthy relationship. Right. So if you feel yourself being guilt tripped, then know that you're not in a healthy situation. I'll leave it at that.
Awesome, man.
I'd like to add something too about the conflict and the communication part, if I can.
Okay. Yeah.
I think one of the most powerful lessons that I had to learn in life was, and I've talked about this in previous episodes too, on this channel and also in some of my previous talks with Naeem, is that the concept of like no one can make you feel your feelings but you, right? Like, you know, if someone pushes you, that's different. You know what I mean? They're touching your body, but like your feelings though, your emotions, if you're in a relationship with someone or, you know, whatever, like, and they make you feel something, that's you feel that emotion. So when conflict can come up, a valuable thing to do in communication is to use I statements, because when you use you statements, you're just further perpetuating more conflict. You're almost, when you use a you statement, it can come across as an attack. So if you're in a relationship and you're wanting to talk about something that came up and you're like, you know, you did this and you really made me feel this way. They didn't. You make yourself feel that feeling, and you have to work with yourself to feel those feelings, and instead come out and say, I feel that because of a behavior that you exhibited, it made me feel this way. And then you can talk about that. And I wanted to piggyback off of what Naeem said in a compassionate, tender kind of way. And I feel like that's really helpful in kind of like, you know, avoiding further conflict and also just getting through conflict too. I thought that those kind of things are like two things that I still try to, like, you know, practice and live by today when talking to people, because you don't want to talk down to people. You don't want to necessarily express that, you know, their behavior, like you are, you know, whatever, making me feel, etc., because that, you know, that doesn't necessarily lead to a lot of progress sometimes. So
it's a very mature outlook.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. Yeah.
And it gave me an example. I know we're gonna close in a moment, but let's say, for example, like, just play along with me with this, Crisco. Let's say you and I both go out for ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant and you're not. And then you recommend the flavor for me. And then we both eat our ice cream later on down the line. Later on in the evening, I'm like, oh, Crisco, oh man, you recommended that macadamia nut. I got stomach issues, man. Why you do that to me, man?
I didn't know you were lactose intolerant. You did it. You ate it.
Oh, but I'm saying I'm in pain right now, dude. Like, it was you the one that said I should have it. I ate it. You know, it's hurting right now, man. It's hurting.
And now I apologize for leading you down a path where you ate something that you shouldn't have ate.
There you go.
You mocking me, Crisco. You mocking me. You saying I did it to myself. You the one that pissed me out. But let's cut, like, right. But it's ridiculous because I should already know that I'm lactose intolerant. So it doesn't matter who pointed out. Like, if it's not a lactose, like, you know, a plant-based or whatever ice cream, then it doesn't matter which one I ate or who pointed it out. That stomach ache is mine. It's not yours.
And it would be different if I force fed you. Like if I knew that you were lactose and I made you do it. That is something that I'm actually doing to you. Like my example of pushing. If you push someone, you're doing something to someone.
Right.
That's your example is good. It brings that up.
Yeah. So that's back to the force, right, that we were talking about. Or even if you tricked me and said, "Oh yeah, this one is plant-based, but it's not," and you either tricked me or forced it, then that's abuse. But we're all about emotional responsibility, and y'all should pick up my latest book in the Amazon jump off, because I'm not even going to say the title. It's too long. It's the latest one. Pick it up. All of them are good. And it talks to this whole chapter devoted to emotional responsibility. Speaking of which, my first book also talks about that. Love is not a game. So the first one and the last one cover that. And I'm sure some of the other ones do too. And taking responsibility that, you know what, I ate this. I consumed this thing that did this to me. AKA, I consumed this thought or this idea that you didn't call me back, Crisco. That means, and now I'm consuming thoughts, mine is racing. That means you don't care about me. You want me to, I'm not good enough. I'm not important enough for you to call back. You abandoned me. You separated from me. Oh no, I'm so sad. So sad. Now, I consume that. I deal with the effects of how painful that feels to think those thoughts. Has nothing to do with you. So if I call you, we talk like, Crisco, you didn't call me back. You left me out alone, naked and afraid, alone and afraid on the show with no pay. Oh my God, that's not your fault. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Hey, look, man, we got two more comments. We got Cheryl. She says, "Not being your authentic self from the jump." Talking about that. Matter of fact, hold on. I skipped Cheryl over here. She said most people have the fear of losing someone because of expressing their true self. And she says, not being your authentic self from the jump. So thanks for that, Cheryl. And also we got for Timla West. She says it's a certain amount of self-awareness to be able to know that you feel a certain way. No one makes you feel that way. Taking ownership of your feelings. It is a good thing to be able to stop and say, why am I feeling this way? And to address the deeper truth of the issue. Exactly. And like you said, it does come with maturity. Some people want to blame everybody for, how they feel, and this is not true. And Crisco, you hit it on the nose. You have to accept, you take your responsibility. Sometimes, don't attack them and say, why did you, say, well, maybe I feel this way because, or whatever, you bring it on to yourself. That way it makes people feel, I guess, comfortable, or you're taking ownership of how you feel, basically. So we'll go with that. And I don't know, you want to close it? Let's go to commercial break. We'll come right back. I know we got like maybe 2 minutes left. And then once we come back, we can close everything up. How about that? Is that cool?
Sounds good.
All right, so we're going to go right to the commercial break. This is the A Game again. We'll be right back. And as the A Game again, great for vitality, energy, strength, and libido. And if you want your free sample, give me a call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836 to get your free sample of the A Game. It's falling off the shelves left and right. So definitely hit me up, fellas. Great supplement. Also, I want everyone to know where they can find us at. You can find us on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT Mind, Body, Soul, and Business, Instagram at Feel.GoodTalk. And you can email us at feelgoodtalk113@gmail.com. And we have a website, www.feelgoodtalk.net. Hey, man, awesome show as always. Crisco, man, definitely I had a great time with you, man. Thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate your presence. It was
Yeah.
definitely love up in this peace up in this piece.
Thank you for joining us, Chris.
Thanks, Charles. Yeah, I appreciate that. I always
Yes.
love coming on.
Yes, sir. Anytime you want to come on, brother, you're more than welcome. So just
Thank
let us
you.
know. So Naeem, what's up, brother? You want to close the show? You got anything else for the people before we get
Promise me, Charles, that you're not going to be on mute when you're talking. It's the deal breaker for me. I can't do it.
No, what happened was I had my microphone on connected to this other my device over here. Anyway, make a long story short, the battery died. So that's what happened.
I would just like to say, oh, okay, cool. Well, good thing
Battery died in the microphone, so that's what happened.
You had
Sorry.
that extra battery. But just in closing, for those of you who are really looking for specifically even friends, but specifically romantic relationships where you know what you want, and it might be, like I said, family, kids, marriage, whatever the case. Know what your deal breakers are and let those be part of your conversations in the beginning. If you're just, so that you don't get down the line and then you find out, oh, by the way, I got 12 warrants out for my arrest. I'm not going to use kids anymore. Like, I got 12 warrants in 12 states. And so we get pulled over, you going down with me. Like, all right, that's a deal breaker. Right? So, just make that list. What do you want? What do you don't want? What are your deal breakers? What are you offering? What are you bringing to the situation? And the deal breakers, and have that conversation. A good book is Happily Ever After: Guide to Healthy Marriage by Naeem Najib. But it's also not just about marriage. I wrote it for people going into, who are thinking about, who are going into, and who are already in marriages, to think about, to get to know someone very intimately and have some very detailed conversations. You don't have to be married or even going to look to marriage. Even the questions in that book, you'll find questions that you might not have thought about, such as, when it comes to kids, like, well, would it be okay if I asked for a pregnancy test? And this, you said I'm the father, and I don't know. Are you gonna feel offended if I ask for that, right? Because that might be something that you want to do. Or what if our child is getting bullied in school? Should I'm gonna tell the child to go and beat that kid's behind? You might say, oh no, we need to talk it out. It's like, no, we could talk it out after you beat their behind. Like, what's your deal breaker? There's different questions in there that are not so savory as far as tea and crumpets conversation, but you can still have your crumpets and your tea if you want, but or maybe chai. But it doesn't mean that with these conversations, if it's done in a safe, compassionate, caring environment, you know that it's important, because it's better to find out these things before they come up, because life will bring scenarios up and you can't premeditate everything. But sometimes, we all know people who've been through things that we're either going through or might go through or gone through, and they have advice and expertise, just like who's that, Cheryl, talking about with the military situation.
Right.
She has expertise and she has experience in that, where she can tell you things that maybe some you may not be able to even be aware of in that situation. So that's all I had to say. Let's just ask questions, be curious, and caring and compassionate in our communication. There's all your C words tonight. Now back to Charles.
Hey man, everything was a great time. Any last words, Chris?
And Crisco, there's a bunch of C's in here.
Crisco, I said Crisco, I'm sorry.
I actually I don't know what happened on your end, but for some reason I actually just got cut out for the past 2 minutes, and I just got back in. So, but I mean, no, I missed part of that, but otherwise, I just appreciate being back on the show. So thank you.
Hey man, anytime.
Yeah, and I would love to dig into some more of that fear stuff, and and those facts in the fear and toxic based relationships, because I feel like I'd love to kind of have conversations more about some of those.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Awesome, man. And again, like I said, come on anytime you want. We got 2 more comments, and we're gonna get out of here. But Timala West says, deal breakers before we meet. I'm not meeting some folks for what? No need. And also, she says, are you really divorced? Can I see your divorce decree? Laugh out loud, Chris. No doubt. I figured I'd get those 2 out of there before we get out of here. But again, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Braley. We got my man, Naeem Najib, and also my man, Crisco. We'll see you next week, same time, right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and business. Peace.
Peace.